Toyota has dominated the 2023 Hypercar season, having claimed victory in all but one race. But that one race was the most important race, the 24 Hours of Le Mans. And they lost it in heartbreaking fashion because with a quarter of the race left, the leading Ferrari refused to refire in the pit lane. Alessandro Pierguidi's eyes darting all through the cockpit as he tries to figure out how to breathe life back into this prancing horse. He is finally able to do so, but not before relinquishing the lead to the number 8 Toyota, who he is all over through the first chicane. Pierguidi gets a kick of oversteer as he comes out of the exit, trying to squeeze on the throttle and tuck into the draft of the number 8 Toyota as they hurtle their way down the Mulsanne straight. Pierguidi moves to the right-hand side, along and then past the Toyota to take the lead and the victory at the 2023 24 Hours of Le Mans. It was a heartbreaking and painful loss for Toyota, whose sole mission now is to win the final 3 races. They got off to a great start on Ferrari's home soil at Monza. But now it's time to bring a victory to their home turf, here at Fuji. They got off to a great start with the number 7 here sitting on pole and the sister car, the number 8, in second position. But the start is going to be tricky because there is a long front straight into a tight right-hand hairpin. So it's going to be really easy for the cars behind to draft up close and make a pass into the first corner. Conway is bringing them to green so slowly, trying to decrease the length of the straight as much as possible and to decrease the draft as much as possible. He finally gets on the power as they cross the start-finish line, but Vanthoor in the Porsche is all over him and already up the inside as they brake late heading into turn 1. The number 7 car is off the track, and we can look back from the number 50, Miguel Molina, who makes contact with the number 8 Toyota, the Cadillac going flying past, and the 50 is up into second position with Vanthoor and the Porsche up into first place. Mike Conway having to fend off the number 2 Cadillac of Alex Lynn as they go into this fast right-hander, able to consolidate his third position and fend off that number 2 car, who is now under attack from number 51 Ferrari of James Collado as they go through 100R. The Ferrari gets a great exit off that fast right-hander and sends it up the inside into the hairpin to claim 4th position for the Italian brand. That makes it Porsche in first, Ferrari in second, Toyota in third, and Ferrari in 4th as they head into the Dunlop curve. Conway, the number 7, thinks about making a move but thinks better of it in the number 7 and falls in behind number 50 of Miguel Molina as they chase down Lawrence Vanthoor in the number 6 Porsche. As they make their way through this really technical and twisty final sector where it's really tempting to try to send a move up the inside of somebody, but really easy to cause a crash by doing so and compromise your own exit in your own race as they get hard on the power coming out of the final corner. That Ferrari of Miguel Molina up front with a big snap of oversteer on the exit as he tries to put all the power down coming from that 499P. The number 7 Toyota now firmly in the draft of this number 50 car, and we can see this Toyota has straight line performance over the Ferrari, and the Porsche is pulling away as well. As Molina defends to the inside, Conway looks around the outside but is not able to make the move as Miguel Molina makes it stick in front and holds on to second position ahead of the number 7 Toyota. As they go through the fast right-hander, we can see Miguel Molina struggling so much for grip in that Ferrari. Conway looks to the inside through 100R, this medium-speed right-hander, and thinks about it, but gets a big twitch, a snap of oversteer through the mid-corner, and Miguel Molina holds on as he is wide. Once again, he now has a big twitch through the mid-corner as they try to fire up these cold Michelin tires. Mike Conway just can't seem to find a way past. He now looks to the outside of Miguel Molina in the number 50 Ferrari. We can jump back aboard the number 51 see Conway tries a pass around the outside through Dunlop and gets pushed off of the track by Molina. No space given and no love lost between these two as Conway looks up the inside of Collado, who defends and is able to hold on to that third position. Now Porsche 1, Ferrari 2-3, Toyota 4-5 as they sweep through this final really twisty section, and we can see Collado now with the tires warming up able to get a better exit than his teammate did on the prior lap. But Conway is still firmly in the draft of this number 51 Ferrari, and we can see that once again this Toyota has straight line performance. Collado has to defend by covering off the inside line. He covers it off one more time as Mike Conway looked to make a move. He's now around the outside once again and breaks as late as possible, trying to make it around the number 51 Ferrari and up into third. But Collado is able to hold on just as his teammate did on the prior lap. And this Toyota is now firmly in fourth position. As the stint continues, the positions at the front of the race have remained the same, but they're now dealing with traffic, this time coming from an LMP2 car. Collado finds his way around and tucks back into the draft, and Conway follows suit, now tucking back into the draft one more time of that number 51 Ferrari, and we can still see the Toyota has the advantage in the straight line in this 51 car, who defends to the middle of the road, and Conway looks to the inside! A late dive up the inside of the 51 car. He tries to get the car turned, but isn't able to do so. Kick of oversteer on the exit, and Collado is back through into third place. It was a surprise move from the number 7 Toyota, but Collado was able to hold on with the over-under as they worked their way past GT traffic through 100R. This battle is turning out to be a titanic one, with Ferrari and Toyota pushing each other to their absolute limit. The Ferrari now stuck behind traffic on the penultimate corner, and as they come to the final corner, he's going to make a move up the inside of this GT car. Conway, taking a wide line through the corner, is able to take the apex and get hard on the throttle. As the Ferrari just understeers slightly wide, we can see that Conway is close on this lap, and Collado is going to have to defend one more time heading into turn 1. Collado makes his move early, defending the inside, but Conway goes 2 wheels on the white line on the right side of the track, taking the inside line away from Collado and making his way up into third position. Can he make it stick as they go through the right-hander? He is hard on the throttle. We do not see a Ferrari next to us. That is third position for Mike Conway as he now closes in on the number 50 Ferrari of Miguel Molina, who goes wide through the Dunlop curve. This little tricky chicane section here. This Ferrari later in the stint really seems to be struggling with his tires compared to the Toyota. Through this slow section, Mike Conway is going to have to bide his time and see if he can make a move on the front straight like he did on the sister number 51 Ferrari. Molina also has a little bit of traffic, a GT car and an LMP2 in front of him. This might compromise him through the final corner. A little kick of oversteer and another one as he comes through the exit. Conway is all over Miguel Molina, who makes it past the GT car and goes 3 wide on the front straight past the LMP2 as well, ducking into the draft of that Porsche GTE and moving back over to the left to keep the number 7 out of the draft. He is weaving on the front straight, trying to keep this Ferrari in front any way that he can as Conway closes up in the braking zone. Molina unable to get the front end to bite through the corner, understeers wide, and Conway gets an overlap through that right-hand kink, and heading into this fast left-hander, he thinks better of it, stays behind Molina, who is pushing that Ferrari all the way off of the road on the right-hand side, using every inch of track to stay ahead of the number 7 Toyota of Mike Conway. Just an incredible battle for second position here at Mount Fuji. And this battle continues all the way into the final corner. Conway slows down the entry to get hard on the throttle early compared to the Ferrari ahead, gets a better exit, and is going to try once again to make a move on this front straight because that's where Toyota has the advantage over Ferrari. As they cross the start-finish line, Miguel Molina defends to the right-hand side. There's no room, but there is just enough room for a Toyota as Conway squeezes between the Ferrari and the pit wall and brakes as late as possible into turn 1. He cannot get the car to turn, gets hard on the throttle, and we can look back and see that the Ferrari and the Toyota are side by side as they go into the fast right-hander. The Ferrari tries to make the move, but just cannot hold the outside line with those marbles on the track, and through 100R, the Toyota has taken second position from Ferrari. And as we come to the end of the first hour, Toyota will come in to make their first pit stop of the race. And this will bring up some really interesting strategy because tire wear is really high at Fuji, and teams during this race were trying a bunch of different strategies to try to mitigate the time lost on worn tires. And if we listen, we can hear that Toyota is changing tires on this number 7 car, but it's just left side tires. That's because this track is mostly right-handers, so the left side tires get worn more than the right-hand side. And as he accelerates out of the pit lane, there's a big slide from those cold left-hand side tires. Another big slide as he locks up heading into turn 1. The Iron Dames Porsche goes around the outside of this number 7 car, which is struggling on these cold left side tires. He really needs to get them up to temperature quickly though, because out of the pit lane, we can see the number 2 Cadillac of Alex Lynn has passed him by not changing tires. Additionally, this Cadillac's tires are already up to temperature, unlike those cold tires that Toyota had. So it's going to be a challenge for the number 7 car to get past this Cadillac, but he needs to do so to make sure he doesn't lose more positions and more time by being stuck behind this number 2 Cadillac. Through 100R, these left side tires are finally starting to build up some heat, and Conway closes in through the tight hairpin. So we can see Alex Lynn using all of the track in that LMDH car. I'll talk about it a bit more later in this video, but the Cadillac and the Porsche are built to different regulations than the Toyota, the Peugeot, and the Ferrari. And I think because of those different regulations, you see the drivers driving the cars differently. This Cadillac, unlike the Toyota, is only rear-wheel drive. So he needs to preserve these rear tires as much as possible during these long stints with high tire wear. And Alex Lynn is using all of the road to increase the radius of the corner and decrease the wear on these tires through them. A big slide from Alex Lynn as he goes through the second to last corner, and Mike Conway makes a late lunge up the inside through this right-hander onto the front straight to claim a position over the Cadillac. And this is critical for the number 7's race, because if we look to the right, we see the number 38 Jota Porsche and the number 8 Toyota coming out of the pit lane as the number 7 breaks late into turn 1, getting past both of them to reclaim second position in the race. If he had been stuck behind that Cadillac for maybe just one more corner, that would have forced the number 7 car to battle with the Porsche and his teammate to get back into second position. We will flash ahead to just over halfway to go in the race, because the number 7 car has now caught the number 6 Porsche of our friend Kevin Estre, who is absolutely hustling that car. I have to say, before this race started, people did not predict that the 963 would do so well compared to the Ferrari and the Toyota. And Kevin Estre, Lawrence Vantor, and the whole number 6 crew have shown how impressive the pace really is in that Porsche 963, as we get a nice shot of Jose Maria Lopez, who is now aboard this number 7 Toyota, as he goes through that tight right final corner and gets hard on the power coming out onto the front straight. And you can see the number 6 Porsche of Kevin Estre is going to dive into the pit lane, and Porsche Penske Motorsport is going to bolt on a set of fresh left-hand side tires for that number 6 car, just as we saw for the number 7 Toyota. But it's now time for Jose Maria Lopez to dive into the pit lane and make his pit stop. As he pulls nicely into his pit box, we can stop and listen for a second and hear that just as the Porsche team did, the number 7 crew will bolt on 2 left-hand side tires to once again mitigate the time lost on these worn tires. But I want you to look to the left as Jose Maria Lopez gets back up to speed, because there goes Kevin Estre and his Porsche, and he has already put heat and energy into those left side tires. And we can see Lopez struggling to get the car even to turn in through the first hairpin on those freezing cold left-hand Michelin tires. Kevin Estre gaining several seconds just in that single corner alone. But with the tires up to temperature, the race is on for the lead. With 2 hours and 49 minutes to go, this is your battle for first overall at Fuji. Heading into turn 1, there's an LMP2 and a Porsche GT. Kevin Estre looks up the inside, thinks better of it though, and tucks in behind the Inter Europol car as Rexy just tries to disappear on the outside. Kevin Estre hard on the power, a little wiggle from those rear tires as he makes his way past that Le Mans winning LMP2 car. Through the fast right-hander, we can see Kevin Estre carries so much speed in that 963. The high-speed performance of that Porsche is really impressive, especially compared to this number 7 Toyota. An LMP2, though, is going to lock up in front of Kevin, who gets hard on the power through the hairpin, and as they go through the kinks, he's going to make his way around the outside of that LMP2 car pretty easily in a straight line, but the LMP2 is going to just squeeze Lopez on the inside. These two drivers fighting tooth and nail for the overall lead here at Fuji. But as they go through this tight and twisty section, I want you to watch Kevin Estrea's line, because he carries really wide radiuses through the corners. And I want to briefly talk about what I had mentioned with this LMDH versus LMH, or really this rear-wheel drive versus four-wheel drive dynamic. Because I think with the two-wheel drive cars, they really struggled with tire wear, especially on the rear tires during these longer stints. And I think to help mitigate that and to bring that tire wear down, the drivers are driving faster through the mid-corner, but having to get later on the power coming out of the corner, because they want as much downforce as possible, squishing those rear tires into the pavement and giving those tires as much grip, even if that means it's a slightly slower overall driving style. Oh, as Kevin is blocked behind this LMP2 car, he looks to make his way past Jose Maria Lopez, looks to the outside of Kevin Estrea, who makes his way past the LMP2. Lopez is stuck behind for a corner, and they're going to make their way through 100R. But just to finish the thought, I think they have to carry a higher minimum speed through the corners and sacrifice maybe just a little bit of lap time, a little bit of front tire wear to help keep those rear tires underneath them and to give them as much grip and tire life as possible. As once again, Rex, he just tries to disappear as Lopez makes it 3 wide, coming through that fast double right-hand kink. Now, 2 hours and 10 minutes into the race, 50 minutes into the stint, Kevin Estrea is still holding that Porsche ahead of Toyota. And if we look in the rearview mirror, there is a number 8. Oh! As Lopez clips the curb, almost spins out of control, the number 8 Toyota briefly gets ahead, but Lopez makes a move up the inside of his teammate in the penultimate corner to get back into second position. Almost a catastrophic mistake from the driver of this number 7 car, and the number 8 Toyota almost getting ahead. But with the number 8 staying close, and now the stint an hour old, the number 7 car is going to pull aside to allow the number 8 to make it past, and to see if at least one of these Toyotas can make it past Kevin Estrea, who has put on a phenomenal performance as we've grown to expect in that 963. Ryo Hirakawa makes a move to the inside of the Porsche through this tight right-left-right chicane and makes it past to take the overall lead. After 4 hours of Porsche being in control of the race, it's now Toyota that leads here under the shadow of Mount Fuji. Through the tight and twisty section, Lopez gets a little bit of oversteer through that left-hand corner as he pushes this Toyota to its absolute limit to try to catch Estrea, who now dives into the pit lane to hand over to Andre Lauderer. This race is not over yet, and if we look ahead, we can see Lauderer exiting the pits in the number 6. Lopez, on his hot tires, brakes as late as possible, but it's too late, and he goes wide into the runoff and has to turn to get back on track, going over the rumble strips. Unlike Formula 1, Lopez has the advantage over Lauderer in the number 6 Porsche because the Porsche is on freezing cold tires and needs to get them up to temperature, whereas Lopez is on hot tires and needs to pump in fast laps to get the overcut and pass the Porsche in the pit stop sequence. Coming through the hairpin, Lauderer struggling with his cold tires. Lopez needs to strike on this number 6 Porsche. Going into the Dunlop corner, Lauderer brakes early and Lopez is up the inside and puts himself a full lap ahead of the number 6 Porsche. This is a critical moment in the race, but Lauderer is not going anywhere. And just one lap later, we can look in the rearview mirror and see that number 6 Porsche still hounding the rear of this Toyota. Into the final corner, he sends a late move up the inside, and there we see the Porsche takes the lap back from the number 7 Toyota, who gets back in the draft and ducks off to the right-hand side to head into the pit lane and to make the number 7 car's penultimate pit stop of the race. Lopez hits that speed limiter and guides his number 7 car into the pit box. And let's just sit back and enjoy one of these incredibly fast driver changes. See the crew frantically going to work. There goes the seat insert, and in pops Kamui Kobayashi, getting a fresh set of tires, accelerating back up to the pit lane speed limit, and then hard on the throttle as he exits the pit lane. We can once again hear the revs climb as those rear tires slide, absolutely refusing to give him any grip. But we will flash forward 20 minutes and see that the number 7 car has now caught the number 8. Brendan Hartley was complaining over the radio that he's struggling with this number 8 car. And through this long right-hander, he is now stuck behind one of the GT Porsches. Coming into the tight left-hander, he's going to send a move up the inside of that GT car, which just about sees him in time. The number 7 car of Kamui Kobayashi easily making it past into the final corner and closing in on his teammate in the number 8. And as he accelerates onto the main straight, is going to get a draft from his teammate. But don't worry, this is a well-oiled team operation. He gently lifts off the throttle, allows the number 7 car of Kamui Kobayashi to catch up in the draft and find his way around the outside onto the racing line into first position. And that is how the race is going to end, with the number 7 car taking victory on home soil, and it will end up being a grand slam win, pole position, and fastest lap. That is domination, but it sure didn't look like it for about half that race. An epic battle with the Ferrari team, with the Porsche team. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching, so much for all the support. I really appreciate it, and I will see you next time.